Hey folks, this is Ben Gessel. This is kind of more of a general vlog, and I'll probably make some other videos today. Definitely today. We're getting toward Christmas. But just to give you an idea why I can't, probably shouldn't really go outside and do like a walking video, I will show you why. It's raining. I don't know if you hear that, but it's not coming down too bad, but it's coming down and it's cold enough. It's cold enough rain. It's coming down hard enough that rather not do a walking video until it clears up a little bit. At least my personal preference. And this is just the way things are. I don't know. I just don't like doing the coat and an umbrella thing unless I have to. It's not the sort of weather that I should be out and about anyway. It's rather cold as well. Um, well, yeah. That being all said, we had record rainfall yesterday for Washington for this day. I think we beat the there was a record set back in 1955 for most amount of rain coming down ever. And we beat that twice over. Like we had more than two times the amount of rain that we had in 1955 yesterday on this very day. So we're having record rainfall in Washington, and it's. I'll be honest. Yesterday I was just trying to get to a few different places. It was a little bit of a weird day. One family that I teach their boy piano lessons had some Christmas presents they wanted to give me, but for some reason it was just the way I was driving around. It wasn't ideal, and I left my debit card accidentally at another house, and it was a tough day. I did all my Christmas shopping. On top of all this, so that yesterday I was worried about getting hit by a car, just driving while it's really dark and stuff, and really rainy. And I'm having some trouble with the IRS a little bit. It's nothing too bad. It's nothing too crazy, but it's very, very vexing and frustrating because they're not getting their butts in gear. They don't know precisely. First off, the tax code itself is plenty confusing. The IRS, as you know, doesn't help you at all, and so you pay a little bit of money for HR Block or TurboTax to do that stuff, and there are often errors because certainly we don't know what we're doing, and HR Block guys do in TurboTax, but then the IRS either doesn't always. I don't know, how can I put this? It's more of a they don't always get the updated information from HR Block and TurboTax when they should, and so they send you letters when you've already finished working on this stuff, or that HR Block and whoever else has information that they don't have, or it's someone else has it, and the IRS isn't always working with each other the right way they should. And that's, I think, what's happening. This has to do with, just not paying for health insurance every single month kind of deal. You end up dealing with this stuff. And this is already stuff I already worked out way back in October. So I'm getting that stuff. I have to deal with that over Christmas break, which I think at this point would make any sane person like a firecracker, basically, to say the least. And I want to get this all squared away Monday and be done with it. Done. DONE, done. Unfortunately, the lady that was helping me with this, she's on vacation. And I tried to send her an email. I'm not going to call her home. No. But I think that everything, as far as HR Block, everything should be in their system and database. They should be able to find everything that we did. So I don't think I think this is a workable situation. I want to be done with it though. Completely done. Fine. All these issues. So I've maybe mentioned this before. I'll say this again. I don't think anybody's a fan of the IRS. But just to reiterate again, despite how corrupt the tax code is, in my opinion, they are irresponsible for one thing, or at least I could put this. No, they're just disorganized. They're a wreck. They're in shambles. They have tons of people working for them, but none of them are communicating with each other. Um, it's an embarrassment. And I have nothing, I have no control over how effective or whatever they are. I just know that they're an embarrassment. And every other country, as far as their tax code and stuff, is not even remotely as much of an issue. I, I have some, folks. You know, being a tax preparer, I think, is a noble profession. I've seen that more and more. I just think that the whole tax system is so complicated. There's so many loopholes that it's like it makes you want to move to a different country because like there are people that take all these deductions off and things, but the deductions themselves, some of them are very subjective, or at least somewhat subjective. At least for self-employment taxes, and a lot of people that are self-employed don't make a whole lot of money, and so I have to pay money. The amount of money I pay just to have this done, I'll do it. I can't figure out my taxes on my own. It's impossible. And I shouldn't have to pay the amount I paid. At least for 2018, it was an astronomical amount. It was insane. And so I didn't want to talk about this subject, but the fact that I'm still getting letter after letter after taking care of everything I needed to take care of is ridiculous. And the fact that the lady, again, that's is on vacation right now, when they wanted a payment right during vacation time, just right during, December 23rd. And I have an appointment set up to take care of all this on Monday, that very day, to either make the payment or to communicate with the IRS in some way. And I don't know what to expect on Monday at 10:30 a.m., where I should be spending this time with my family at home, it should be with loved ones and should be having a good time. No, I'm doing this. I want every single person in the IRS to watch this video. Every single person. I'm sure it won't happen, but if it does, I want them to put themselves in my shoes. Yeah. And all the other people that are out there that are having similar issues or worse issues, I want them to put themselves in those guys' shoes and ask themselves, is this worth it? And some people will always be heartless. Okay. Some people will always be corrupt. You love the law when the law works for you. You don't love the law when the law works against you, obviously. But the thing is that, I'll say this, it's legalized robbery, or at least you're legally obligated to be robbed. I'll put it that way. Now, it's just a question. I don't know. It's like we do believe in supporting our national government, sure, but what does that mean exactly? And how much does our government really supporting us? Supposedly, with Social Security, you get back a lot of the money you put into taxes anyway. But is that really going to be the case? We have a whole bunch of people that are baby boomers in the United States, huge percentage of people, and I would rather the money that I put into taxes went to my own parents for Social Security. That's how I feel. That's how I feel very strongly that way. But even so, it's going to a lot of other folks or baby boomers or who knows who, I don't know. But I don't think I'm going to see any of that money when I get to be really old and need Social Security. I just don't. The money is going to run out because it's going to everybody who needs it. You guys have heard this before about the Social Security thing. So I don't buy it. It's like, so for a lot of the things I do, and I'm self-employed, when people pay this money to me, some of that money they pay, some of the effort I put into what I do goes to the national government. Quite a bit of that. And I have no control over what happens in the national government. Everyone thinks they have. Americans are, we have a democracy, and that our representatives in Congress listen to us, and our president listens to us, and they actually have a say in what happens. Nope, we don't. We do not. We vote maybe, so we pick one of a few different candidates, and the more that the government's at a local level, the more effective it is, the more ethical it is, because it's more local. We know more about these people, and there's just more things to keep things in place and in check. The farther you go, state, national, the more corrupt it gets. There's millions and millions of people in the United States, over close to 330 million people. And how the devil, are any of us going to be? We supposedly vote on things, but what we vote on doesn't really matter. You guys should probably see the George Carlin episode about that already. And George Carlin basically is right. And George Carlin, you say, oh, again, I mentioned this before, he's a liberal or he's a Democrat or whatever. He's different than me politically, and he makes fun of churches, and he, he's very irreverent and whatever. He's a little bit crude and everything, all that stuff. Whatever, I get all that. There's a lot of different sides to George Carlin. A lot of sides to him. Yes, I know he thinks that religion is kind of hokey. But yes, he's very quick to see the corruption in government. Not only does he see corruption in religion a lot of times, which he's kind of lambasting more often. And, George Carlin also wasn't very friendly to Mormons, but it was just, he just doesn't buy it. But, despite that, he knows that, voting is not really all it's cooked up to be. It's not all it's cooked up to be. It's very, well, you're part of the club or you're not. And if you're not part of the club, life is harder for you. And he gets it. And we know this stuff. And whether you're Democrat or Republican or liberal or conservative, ultimately it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter because you, more than anything, you either believe or support the Illuminati or you don't. Or if you don't want to call it the Illuminati, you don't believe that exists, just call it big business, big government, or basically multinational corporate powers that be. And just call it greed, because that's what it is. It's greed. More money for the wealthiest, less for everyone else. It's no mystery. And whether you go to jail or whether you're harassed by your government because you're not paying enough money, or you're not whatever, the oppression comes in a lot of different forms, but it still comes. And, being an American, we are always opposed to this kind of thing. We just many of us don't see it when it actually exists as far as, tyranny. But as Americans, we definitely are one of the top 10 nations to stand up to tyranny. At least in the past, I still think we do. We just have a lot of people that don't think that that's happening so much, but it is. Because, I don't need to tell you guys this, we're not really making more money. We have a higher cost of living. Everything is going. Gas prices have been pretty stable. They've been fluctuating. They've been pretty stable. They have never gone up to $4 a gallon. The economy is doing good, right? A lot of people thank Trump and praise Trump, but I'm skeptical of that somewhat. But even in coming from a conservative, so at least the overall economy is doing well. There's work out there, which is promising. But how much of that work is work that, first off, I want to do, and second off, are the unemployment numbers being, how accurate are they? Are we including everybody in the United States in these censuses regarding unemployment? I think there's a lot of people that aren't being reported. They're off the grid. And oh, I'm sorry, I'm getting into this government thing here a little bit, but I lost a train of thought. Life is still really hard. It's really, really hard. Um, Again, we're not making necessarily more money. We have a higher rents, food costs more, gas is about the same. But health insurance, not cool. Car insurance, not cool. Um, Phone bill is probably really weird. I mean, it's all just a big mess in terms of how everyday people have to eke by, you know, not be just worked to death. And I promise I'll make some other topics today. And I just for one want to, be done with all this crap. I want to know what I need to pay, when I need to pay it, be able to pay it, have plenty of money left over to save, and I should be able to do that. Same, plain and simple, especially if I'm going to be spending less on groceries, which I'm planning on doing this year, along with trying to eat healthy and have something tasty here and there. So I want to, again, communicate with everybody else out there regarding this stuff. And this should not be an issue, especially right now over Christmas vacation. It's a joke. And, when people say they want to impeach Trump, my train of thought is basically this. And it's because of some Russia thing, collusion thing. Because, at least we got rid of Obamacare. Okay. And I personally think that was the right thing to do. It was the right thing to do. But that's my opinion. But if Trump is impeached or not, how can I put this? I never voted for the man. I don't respect him personally, and no, not really. And no. There may be things that I like about him. I try to find likable about him, like everyone else. I try to see him in the best light I can, but and I do suspect many things about him that isn't very obvious, but well, in some respects it kind of is. So whether or not he's impeached or not, I've heard all the news, right? Democrats are furious with him for their often very democratic reasons. And I just have to say, well, I would not defend him. I wouldn't defend Trump because everybody thinks he's this amazing president that, again, he got rid of Obamacare. He lowered the unemployment rate. He's kept us safe. He's tried to export the illegal aliens or just kick them out. He's done a lot of great things in the United States. Okay, maybe there's some of that I've believed on some level. So maybe I don't want him to be impeached. But whatever his thinking is, if he is impeached, who would become the next president? Well, I guess it would be Mike Pence, wouldn't it be? I don't know what kind of president Mike Pence is. I think that would actually be better. Mike might actually be a better president than Trump. Some might not agree with that, but I think he'd be more ethical. But the real question is, we've heard all these great things about Mike Pence, and he would only be president for a short period of time if, heck, we have elections coming up here in 2020. April. No, not April. I meant November 2020. So if Trump was impeached, how long would that take? The impeachment process. And if Mike Pence was president for less than a year, how much would he be able to actually do to better the United States and make our laws more just? And then he's only vice president, so that we'd have another election. Sorry, guys, I'm something in my throat. I'm just very confused because if the impeachment process ends up taking a long, long time to figure out what was happening in the election in 2016 with Russia, Ukraine, the United States, and all that stuff, and let's say it was really hard to find out what was really going on, that could take a long time to research, or not. I don't know, but in this scenario that Trump just stays in office until he's done, and he's kind of allowed to just finish off his term, and he's not reelected or he's not, maybe the rule I say is he's not eligible for reelection in 2020. So then it's open to whoever, and the Democrats could win, and oh no, right? So if somebody worse comes in, that's what we fear, somebody's worse. But like, we've been through so many different kinds of presidents anyway. Democrat, Republican, it doesn't really ever seem to make any difference in terms of how life is for anybody here. Not really, in my opinion. Someone who's older than I was when I worked in Sheldon Village said, I just as a janitor, this is a amusement park I worked at for a bit. He said, the only thing that changes if you have a Republican or Democrat in office is something having to do with your taxes. But it's very slight, and that's really about it. Everything else stays about the same. And so, I mean, it just adds to the apathy, I suppose. And there's an apathy out there about voting. So again, so there's the scenario of Trump finishing up his 4 years in office. And he's just allowed to finish, but he's not open for re-election. Then there's the option of he is open, he is free to, run again in 2020. So that nothing happened from the impeachment process. The next situation that happens is that Trump is impeached, and then Mike Pence becomes the president for a short period of time. Is Mike available for re-election in 2020? I guess so, if he wants to run. Then there's the option, something weird where I don't think this is going to happen at all. But we just have we just end the presidency and we have a new election at a weird time. Not November 5th, it's something different now. Or somebody else just automatically comes to power. Let's just say, this is crazy, Trump is impeached, and instead of Mike Pence becoming president, somehow Barack Obama becomes president again, which would be illegal, or it wouldn't happen, or we don't really have laws against that. But we had one president run twice like that in the past, but then I think we passed an amendment saying you can't do that anymore. So then Barack becomes president, and then he reinstates the Medicare thing. I don't know. It goes into effect at a certain point, and again in the future. That would never happen. I don't think that could never happen. But part of my train of thought is, what gives? I mean, it's just like we keep hoping for something better that never really materializes. Black people keep hoping for a better life, for instance, from some president, and it never materializes. It never happens. Never really. It's just empty promises. Barack Obama promised a lot of things that he never delivered on. Well, there's only one man, and you have checks and balances and power, and Illuminati doesn't want to help out black people. Yep, I agree with that. I agree with the fact that Illuminati is trying to keep out black people down. They obviously are. But it's not that the Illuminati wants to make the lives of Jews and white people nicer. They want to make everybody miserable and themselves richer. So it's not about race. It's about more for them and less for us. But it just so happens that the people that make up the Illuminati are mostly white or Jewish or whatever, or Zionist Jew, you know what I'm talking about, not just Jewish. So that's why there's that idea that they're against black people, but then everyone talks about how Jay-Z or Beyonce are part of the Illuminati. Man, if there are any black people in the Illuminati, they're not high ranking. They're not. that influential. They might be in the entertainment industry or whatever, but no. So, but aside from that, no, I mean, no, it's just nothing ever really changes. Period. So whether or not Trump is impeached or not, to me, is not the biggest story. And I've heard all kinds of stuff recently on talk radio, conservative stuff talking about, and whether it's Ben Shapiro, which I like Ben, of course. I agree with his views, but like everybody else, that's a conservative guy. There's just a lot of things that I'm not so sure about, or Sean Hannity or whatever. And so I agree with their views on the surface, and I guess these guys are still low on the totem pole. They're not insider guys. They're not Illuminati. So that gives me more reason to like them. But they're very political, and so a lot of what they say can be very controversial, and so it can drive a lot of people away, of course. Aside from all that, though, it's just, you can talk about Rush Limbaugh or whatever. Newt Gingrich and what he said about establishment, whatever. Donald Trump is he's not a player, so it's different. I'm like, oh gosh. And then people saying, well, the reason why he said that is so that he would mask Trump's real allegiances, And why would Trump be elected to the presidency if he wasn't allowed to, by Illuminati? So it's just kind of it's just a big show. And whether or not he's getting impeached or not, I don't know. I'm hoping, for whatever reason, I still believe that Trump has an ounce of integrity and goodness about him. I'm hoping he's not impeached. But then if he is impeached, I realize, considering everything I'm going through, would Democrats really expect more from me, or how it would change financially for me? 'Cause that's the big thing, right? But it's also a lot of other things too. So, I don't know. And we've had presidents like Jimmy Carter, which again, I think he's a really good person. I don't know how he did economically, but imagine John F. Kennedy had some good points as well. It was the earlier Democrats that seemed to be better presidents and better. Well, Jimmy Carter especially seemed like a really good guy. So that there's that thing. But again, even though I lean Republican and conservative, I just see it's oftentimes as being this big show, and it's really stupid and dumb. I don't know. I'm gonna make some more videos. Leave me thoughts, comments below. Catch you guys later. Take care. Bye.